This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation. Foundation.
The Foundation with Howard Grant is brought to you by Alive, Born for Bones, Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, Da Vinci Printing Innovators, ESC Distributors Limited, Grand Bahama News, the IAAF World Relays Bahamas, and Popeyes.
The Foundation. Foundation. The Foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company, The Foundation. It is a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Is it me? Or is it just me? Is it where I am? The grass looks a little bit dehydrated. We got to be able to do this. So we got to send down the rain. Yeah, we need a little rain, right? Got to be able to do these things. Guys, it's a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous day. I hope that you're doing good out there. I hope that you and your family are doing very good. April 17th, 2024, my oldest son, the first one, his birthday is going to be tomorrow. He's going to be 18 years old. 18 on the 18th. And my daughter was 16 on the 16th. This is peculiar. They are celebrating their birthday. If you're celebrating a birthday today, April 17th, I say happy birthday to you. Continue to be able to celebrate and move towards the purpose that you've been called to in this life, man. It's a beautiful thing to know that we've been called for more. You don't have to necessarily get wrapped up in this superficiality that continues to be able to spew from one crevice to another. It's too much. I can't take it. I can't take it. I assess these things and I look at this and I try to be able to imagine men and women of old who understood what survival meant. And the evolution can't be a perpetual desire to move towards comfort. It is bananas. I know that we're supposed to work smarter, not necessarily harder. But I don't necessarily know whether or not that equates to more lazy. Is it like, synonymous with lazy? Smart? Let's talk about it. Guys, it's a beautiful day. I want to thank you for being able to tune in. Make sure you pick up your Guardian newspaper. Child abuse cases at an alarming rate, 128 cases of child abuse reported. I think we need to be able to stretch this far and wide. I tried to report child abuse when I was young, and the police laughed me off. Right? My daddy beat me. I think it was mommy. I can't remember who it was, but it was mad violent. I felt like this is the day. Listen to me. I could be an orphan today. That's how I felt, right? I could be Yanni today. Yeah, that's how I felt. Matilda, it's fine. I could be today. It's good. Please laugh at me. But we got to talk about these things. About 128 cases of sex abuse reported. This is goes right back to what we were talking about yesterday. Where's this propensity, this desire relentlessly of being able to thrust yourself upon those who can't help themselves? Where does this come from? Where does this come from? These things require a study. But I don't know. I guess we're so wrapped up in trying to be able to survive and just being able to exist that we don't understand that these things require a study. That life, in its cyclical nature, the cycle that is life, this will come back again. It says to me that this was here before. just by the nature of what life is. That we have dealt with these things before. Nobody documented the thing. Nobody took record. Nobody identified the necessity for being able to talk about these things. And now us, with all this education and money spent, going off to school, going all over the place, having all this observation, access, and so forth and so on, don't see the necessity for being able to create a case study and identify why. To do the contrast between yesterday, today, and anticipate a forecast of how we could avoid this tomorrow. That is what community is about. That is what building is about. That is the concept of evolution. Not just this is natural, oh, you naturally evolve. No. It has to be deliberate. We are not animals. We're human beings. Before we get into it, I want to be as decent as possible. Guys, make sure you pick up, like I said, your Guardian newspaper. All the information's in there. Listen, man. A famous artist, a renowned Bahamian artist actually passed away. I'm looking at him. I'm sure that my brother knows him. John, how do you pronounce it? Beadley? John Beadley dies. Activists called for stiffer penalties for convicted rapists. I agree with you. Cooper tells that the UN Forum travel advisories harmful and unfair. This is heavy. He's standing at the same, behind the same lectern that Saddam Hussein said right after George Bush spoke. You remember this? When Saddam Hussein, he walked up right after George Bush, he said, I could still smell the sulfur, right? do you remember that? I thought it was crazy, right? I thought it was crazy. So we're going to have more conversations like this. I got my guest because he's going to be joining me in 2 seconds, being able to talk about these things. Got to shout out my good, decent people over at AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers. They got everything laid out for you. Taxis, jitneys, leggies, all those particular things. Get yourself insured for that and get in-house financing. Speak to my good friend, Ethric Bow. He could take very, very good care of you on whatever you do as it relates to being able to get insurance. He could be able to assist you with that. And they're open on Saturdays, so Monday to Friday and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You got to go and check them out. They got everything laid out for you. Got to shout out to my good, decent people over at Da Vinci's Printing Innovators. They got everything laid out on Village Road Shopping Plaza. If you're in the market, if you're one of these people that's sitting down, let's just be professional, okay? Let's be professional. You're putting these things out on social media. You don't realize that everybody can see this, okay? You don't realize that everyone can see this tacky thing that you. Everyone can see your tacky graphics, okay? Everyone can see that you let your 7-year-old put this thing together, and now you're trying to ask us to be able to support this. We can't read this. It's not legible. It doesn't pop anything. Find professionals to do your job. Da Vinci could be able to assist you with that. Look them up on Facebook. Go down there to the Village Road Shopping Plaza. They get everything laid out for you. Please be decent in this season. When you're presenting this information to the public to consume, at least let it be legible. I want to critique some of y'all's sign. Y'all got 98,000 words on the sign on the highway. How we could read this? How? You want me to get in the accident trying to figure out you having a cookout? How? You want me to get in an entire accident and cause a 7-car collision to read your 98,000 words on this half a sheet of plywood? This is too much. When we can get to stop to read this? I'm not going to fight you. Please, go down to Da Vinci. They can be able to assist you with these things. Make it pop, make it accessible, make all these things happen. You can see exactly what they're on Facebook. They're on Instagram, and you can be able to check them out, like I said, at the Village Road Shopping Plaza. They're very great, man. They're very good. Even if those persons are in church and you need your tithing envelopes, all these things, they do these printing right there. It's an exciting thing to be able to do that. Guys, today I wanted to talk more specifically about these things. I think yesterday was a little bit deep. I'm going to open up the lines. Wednesday is a day that we have an opportunity to be able to interact with each other, right? Wednesday is a day that we have an opportunity to be able to interact with each other, so I'd like you to be able to do that. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259 anywhere from the family violence, 242-300-5720. I'd like you to hit me up and just let's talk about these things. Like I said, 422-4796. You can hit me a text. I'm going to take this quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wings are here. Popeyes now has wings in 5 flavors: honey barbecue, ghost pepper, signature hot, sweet and spicy, and roasted garlic parmesan. Marinated for 12 hours. Hand battered and breaded in a bold Louisiana seasoning. And they're only $7.25 for 6 wings. Taste them
Crunchy outside.
and juicy inside.
Try the new wings from Popeyes now.
Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your gal. Come witness history in the making at the 2024 World Athletic Relays Chase the Sun, Paradise to Paris, happening here in Nassau, Bahamas. Hundreds of the best runners from more than 40 countries will compete for their place in the 2024 Paris Olympics, May 4th and 5th at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. Get your tickets early at worldrelaysbahamas24.org or at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium box office.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The lines are wide open. If you want to be able to participate in the conversation, please do so. Hi, hun. Please ask Howard. I just got this forward from Garth. Garth's going to be here in a couple of seconds. Hi, hon. Please ask Howard if he could send a birthday shout out to my son, Keanu Dorset. He's turning 14 today. Happy birthday, Keanu. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. If you guys are celebrating a birthday, I want to say happy birthday to you and hope that you're doing well during this particular time. 14 years old. I can remember that time. Couldn't wait to be 16. That's all I remember about 14. I couldn't wait to be 16. And then I remember 15 is closer to 16. That was it. Let's talk about these particular things. I just got a text. It says, Howard, did you hear there was somebody trying to commit an atrocity today over at the bridge? Yeah, they're trying to be able to self-inflicted wound stuff. Let's be decent. Let's act like it's TikTok at least. We don't have to see these particular things. You know what I mean? It says, how us black people don't normally do this. What in the living hell is going on in our country? There is only a cry for help. This all this is. This is a spectacle and a cry for help. That's what we're seeing in this country. That quietly there have been questions and desires to be able to get forward and make some things happen. And now you're seeing people being able to show you out loud a cry for help. Everyone needs to know that we're broken. Everyone needs to know that I've been looking for assistance for a long time and was unable to get it. That's what it is. It goes right back to what we started to talk about. 128 cases of sexual abuse in our country at this particular point, and we have yet to be able to rectify these issues by being able to run ramshot in the primary schools. Having conversations about inappropriate touches. What's right? What's wrong? How do you do this? How do you do that? We're not having these conversations. Let's talk about it. Lines are wide open. Let me take the telephone call. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. What's happening with you?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. And it was in Saddam Hussein. It was Hugo Chavez from Venezuela.
Hugo Chavez, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Just after that, they take him out, yes.
Yeah, I can never forget that. That was
I can still smell the sulfur.
That was a monumental moment.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
Crazy, yeah. I mean, it was crazy good. Yeah, crazy for the good. Yeah. Yeah, but Howard, what I wanted to touch on was the other day, before God get in and you and him get into your really discussion. The other day when the lady had spoken about the contracts and different stuff, you had made a statement. I think your statement was more or less like that's how some people feed their families or something like that. I think it was your.
Which contract now? Jog my memory. Which we talking about?
When there was talk about the contracts and stuff like that, how one of your response to one of them was like, that's how some people deal with that's how some people feed their families.
From these government contracts?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's how some people feed their families.
Yeah, I mean, but you were saying it like in the way, but my point was that I have no problem with an individual getting a contract from the government if they are providing a service or something that benefits the government and the government itself is unable to provide it or didn't even have any vision of it, and someone came to the government with an idea, and you know what I mean. But as long as it at least had an equal benefit to the individual who was bringing it, as well as it was to the people of the country, not one-sided.
Yeah, there should be reciprocity.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
There should be reciprocity. I agree.
Yeah, I have no problem with that type of contract agreement, right? But when you're going to take a service that is already being done by a government agency, right, where you know what I mean, and then remove it from the government, right, where individuals were already being paid to do this thing, right, and those individuals who used to do this thing, like that was just probably one of the things that they used to do, but they're still getting paid the same amount of money, right? But that one particular thing, they don't have to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. But now you have a whole institution now that is brought in that is paid a separate amount of money to do this thing that was done by the government, or where you have a government service that is completely removed and brought in, and a private entity is brought in to replace that, where it is more expensive to the government. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't make any sense. If I have a house and I pay a gentleman, a handyman, $200 to take care of my house per week, and in that $200 he cleans the windows and rake up the leaves, does everything around the house, right? Mm-hmm. What sense would it make now for me to bring in another individual and pay that individual $200 just to come in and clean my windows, and still pay my handyman $200 to still do the leaves? This time he doesn't have to do the windows anymore because now someone else coming in to do it for $200. Now, that doesn't make any sense to the normal person. You wouldn't do that with your own money, but that's the kind of activities our government performs with our money. You see, so when we say we have a problem with individuals with contracts, Howard, it's not about we're trying to take money from individuals' mouths, etc. Mm-hmm. We're just trying to speak to that which we could save money, which is unfair, which is corrupt, and we want to stop the process because it is wrong. You see, because and I'm gonna end with this. Like the other day, when you gave a figure per hour as it relates to the ankle monitoring,
$2.67, something like that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I did the math on that, right? Mm-hmm. And I did it at $2.50 an hour over a course of a year for 600 individuals, right? Mm-hmm. And that came up to $13,104,000. That ain't no joking money.
No.
No, and if you multiply that over X amount of time and see, and your reasoning was like, well, you know, individuals need to be able to have the networking ability to be able to link up with individuals in order to make this type of technology or whatever possible, right?
A portion of that money isn't theirs.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
A portion of that money goes directly to licensing. A portion of that you don't even touch that money. That goes directly to wherever the company is in the world that actually monitors your
but what I'm trying to say, Howard, is that I mean, you have to pardon my ignorance because I guess but I'm certain I wouldn't be the only one who probably assumed this, even if it's wrong, even if it's incorrect, right? But I feel as if, like, I thought ankle monitoring and all these other things, I thought this was strictly reserved for law enforcement. You know what I mean? Like, when I saw it, I mean, like, even from the time they was doing it, like before they even reached, you watch TV and stuff, I thought that the police used to do these things strictly. I didn't even know private people would, because it made no sense to even say have a middleman between the police and the criminal. You know, that kind of way. To me.
You would think that, but
yeah, that's
if you
what I'm
look
saying
at it,
now. So you have to pardon my ignorance if I'm wrong.
Okay.
You see what I'm trying to say to you? But,
Okay.
but what I'm trying to say is that I just don't understand how is it that a government agency or government itself is unable to provide something that a private entity can provide.
Okay.
You understand? I feel as though our government should have been able to set up its own type of network to monitor its own type of ankle monitors in this little island we have here, and they could have purchased whatever equipment they need, and they could have made it a police run situation. Our police are capable and qualified to do that for sure. And like I said before, remove the middleman. But then, like I said before, $13 million a year. I don't care who it going to. It's not a little bit of money, especially if it's possible to have saved that by having official law enforcement agencies deal with it.
Okay. I appreciate your telephone call, my brother. You
Thank you
put
very
a
much.
lot
Thank
on the
you very
table
much.
today. There's a couple of things I want to touch. Garth is here, so we can bring Garth in 2 seconds, but there's a couple of things I want to touch before we go on to even the next telephone call. The first thing that you started to talk about was outsourcing. Okay? That is a terminology that has been identified. If you look at the contractual obligation of those particular persons that are working in organizations, right? If you look at their contracts, if you look at what they sign up for, they have been doing at least 35% to 40% more than they're contractually obligated to. And this is why the unions step in and say, hey, listen, if you're going to be able to have this person do this, this, and this, there should be an increase in these particular areas. This happens across the board. Across the board, persons want to be able to get a fair day's wage for a fair day's work. That's just what it is. Companies recognize that if they're going to increase the value, the hourly rate of these particular persons, just doing the numbers, just regular numbers, these are just basic math numbers, just doing the numbers. If I increase your rate by let's say 75 cents a dollar, whatever, your hourly rate by that particular thing, multiply by the times that you work, multiply by the employees that I have, take into context that I can't forecast or foresee that I'm going to have to pay you overtime at this point or that point, so forth and so on. I lose more money as a company by increasing your salary as opposed to outsourcing and paying a fixed fee to clean those windows. Whilst I was content with the fact that I had a fella in here cleaning windows, mopping the floor, doing all these things, and was giving him $200, there comes a time when an external entity will come in and say, hey, listen, it's wrong what you have this guy doing it only for $200. We're now having a conversation in our community about living wages. We're having a conversation in our community about living wages. You can't put more on the back of a man and you're not paying him. So companies have to make a determination, just like the government has to make a determination about outsourcing. That's one. Secondly, you start to talk about technology. The introduction to technology has never been from the belly of law enforcement. It's never. Historically, globally, you look, there is always engineers, technocrats, creators that are coming up with concepts, not necessarily for war or for police enforcement, so forth and so on, but it's utilized for that. The GPS you have on your phone, was created for war. The telephone you have in your hand was created in the midst of war. These things are utilized in other aspects, and we realize how these things are used at this particular point. And you could flip that also. When they created IBM, Apple, when they created the computer, the fact of the matter is that it wasn't created for the corn that you watch with a P. Corn with a P. Talk to me. But sometimes these things they deviate these things. So I just wanted to be able to say that to you, and then started to talk about this kind of a concept as to whether or not the Bahamas government or any other government in a small nation should be able to identify the technology, sustain the technology, create a space for the technology. Listen to me. These fellas having a conversation about cryptocurrency right now, about crypto mining. Do you know how much money that is to crypto mine? Do you know just to be able to have your CPUs and whatnot, you have to have a whole room cool for that all day? Listen to me. If it's not broke, don't fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. If there is an entity that's giving me a flat rate that I can see that it's affordable, that I could be able to rely upon consistency, that I don't have to be able to create, I know the techs and so forth and so on. These guys have technical persons on a 24-hour basis. This is what you put. When you look at business, you have to look at all elements. And the government of the Bahamas cannot afford this. Just to do that, they have to train people to do that, which is not a bad thing. I'm not going to fight them. But how much more would it put into trying to be able to identify whether or not we could sustain this as opposed to being able to look to up? Because we need the technology now. We don't need it in 18 months. We need it now. It exists now. Why would we have to reinvent the wheel? That's just my take. God, say hey to the people, man. You stepped in here with all your red on and adorn and so forth and so on. Does your shirt say Pintard? It didn't say. Or does it say Menace? You all red out today, my brother. You got your nice haircut. What's going on with you? Say hey to the people out there.
Howard, it's just a beautiful day. I'm not just red. I'm ready.
You're ready to get scared.
Just feeling hot.
You
today.
are wilding out, sir, with your Versace shades on. You need to stop.
When they Gucci. you got me to talk my business. That's what you're trying to do.
This is my guy. I ain't got to get you. What's happening with you?
Business. But I was just telling a friend of mine, it's a beautiful day. If you look outside here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the sun is shining, the skies are blue, the temperature is just right, the trees are green, and my Bahamian people, let's continue to keep our country clean, and pristine. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a wonderful sight to see when you leave your home to see the country looking as beautiful as it is. I'm enjoying it today.
I got a text that says, hey, Howard, shout out to Exuma. Shouts out to Exuma. They say we need an island-wide cleanup and more street lights in our streets and in our communities. It's a great show. Thank you so much, man. Travis hit me up the other day and said that he got, Travis Robinson was on with me the other day. Very good conversation I had with him. He got a couple calls he said he got calls from Long Island, from Exuma, from Abaco, all over the place. Guys, wherever you are in the country, I want to thank you so very kindly for being able to tune in. Text me at 422-4796. Let me know where you're listening from. Let me take the telephone call. Call on the line. Thanks so much for holding.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm very well. Hi, God, how are you?
Well, I'm good. Listening.
Very good. So I know it's going to be a dynamic show today. I like when you and Mr. Grant are on together.
Yes, ma'am.
I quite enjoy. But anyway, let me not stray. Howard, you mentioned somebody said something about the bridge.
Yes, ma'am. Somebody texted me and said, Howard, did you hear something was happening on the bridge? Somebody was attempting to possibly jump or whatnot. I hadn't heard that. Yeah.
What I'm calling for, and I was hoping my president would have communicated this to the public in inviting persons to attend. And please allow me, I know this perhaps is not the time, but I think it is the time. The Bahamas National Council for Disability, you've heard about that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
They're having a meeting this evening. And what I want to say is anybody who has something on their mind or think they might need some counseling or need to share and talk and what have you, please, I'm inviting them to the Bahamas National Council for Disability meeting this evening at 6 o'clock, a timely topic. They're talking about, they're discussing mental health. So, if any person or persons feel that they have a need to,
Where's the meeting going to be tonight?
It's going to be at the Marjorie Davis Institute, formerly known as Our Lady's School, on DeVoe Street. At 6 o'clock today. So anybody who really feels that they have a need to talk, to exhale,
I appreciate you so much.
Very important.
I appreciate you so much, Ms. Coleman. Thank you so much for giving us a call.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for allowing me to share.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, National Council for Disability having a meeting tonight, 6 p.m., about mental health. Marjorie Davis Institute, former Our Ladies, being able to talk about that. I think it's important that we have a conversation about mental health.
Of course.
I think
and disabilities.
From almost every subsector of our society, we've actually recognized that people are kind of cracking. Can I say that? Is it cracking? Right? Is that the proper terminology? They are stepping out of the formality of what we know, we've come accustomed to, that is a social decorum. They're stepping out of that. They are, for want of a better term, wilding out.
It's
a lot of people.
It's a different type of crazy. You know, we were young. We said, I crazy, but I don't play. That's a different type of crazy.
That was only to scare you. We knew he was okay.
That's a different type of crazy. That's what I'm saying to you. But this type of crazy is, like you said, wilding out.
Yeah, something we need to be able to talk about it. And I don't believe that, and this is what I say. And, we started to kind of push on this yesterday. The fact of the matter is that we've seen yesterday's newspaper start to talk to us about the fact that crime is down by 21%, but rape is up by 11%. That's crazy.
That's
crazy to me.
I want to have an input.
Crime is down by 21%, but rape is up by 11%.
It's just a play on words and definitions, but yeah, I got you. And I wanted to touch that a bit today when you would have allowed me to. I just want to give a special shout out. I saw Dr. Nina Munnings this morning in the food store, and she said she listens to all of your shows.
Hey, Dr. Munnings, how you doing?
And several other people from the island. I promised that I'd make mention of you all that say y'all really enjoy the show. So thank you so much for your support. Howard, here's my issue this morning. The definition of capital punishment is the legal permission to end someone's life. That's capital punishment, right? The definition of the Privy Council is the highest legal advisory to the Crown. Yeah? Okay, good. We here in the Bahamas, at this present day in history, we do not practice capital punishment. And we also approach the Privy Council on certain matters. If we are mandated to make conversation with the Privy Council, I'm now questioning the real value of what you call independence. And I'll tell you why. What I love about Howard Grant and his whole ideology when it comes to establishing the foundation is that Howard attempts to find balance. But balance also comes with discipline, And I want to look at the Bahamas today, Mr. Howard Grant and the listeners, as a house, a home. When you go into the home of Howard Grant, I just want to know who's in charge. Is it the parents or is it the children?
Is the daddy.
For the most part, and for some houses, that even a man may be the woman in charge. I mean, you just have some houses that are like that. But that's why I said the parent. I don't want to get into the gender war today. But for the most part, traditionally, yes, the father. We have a paternal figure as the head of our home here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I ask myself the question, is that figure truly in charge? We have a disciplinary issue in our home, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, where we have young men who are taking matters into their own hands and creating violent acts. And I want to know where these actions take place, Mr. Howard Grant. Where is the discipline? Where is the consequences that actually balance out the action of violence to the point where we can correct this issue? We're complaining about crime. We're complaining about rape. We're complaining about actions that are negative. But it is very, very clear to me that the consequences of these actions are not sufficient. Incarceration cannot be the solution to violent crimes. It's impossible. Keeping your child inside the house is not sufficient. Timing out is not sufficient when it comes to violent behavior. And so I want to know if what we now have experienced in the last 5 years in terms of violent activity in our country is only increasing by each year. That it simply says to me that whatever system you had put in place in terms of corrective measure is not working. The measure that we know that did somewhat work, even though many of us may be against it, it may be against our religious views, you are proven to be heinous in your behavior, you commit violent acts, we end yours. Now, it happens in the United States, it happens in other countries around the world, but we say it cannot happen here in our beautiful country, the Bahamas. We have to have a talk with the Privy Council. So the Privy Council is in charge of our disciplinary measures and how we can control this type behavior on the streets of the country, the Bahamas.
So are you saying
God,
that sovereignty is a facade?
It is a facade for the most part. And what I want to say is this, Howard, when your daddy cannot be a man, and I'm saying this to the young men of this country, when you cannot find a man in your daddy who lives in the house with you, he ain't no good, he's a drunkard, he's a dope smoker, whatever he is, he just ain't no good, he don't want to work, don't want to give you no good character upbringing, find yourself a stepdaddy. Find yourself a male mentor in society. And I'm saying if the Bahamas cannot find a strong father in terms of disciplining our home, maybe the Bahamas need to find another stepdaddy.
You can cost me travel into the abyss today.
You have to go into the abyss because the problems that we're having in this country now is taking this whole country into the abyss. Chester Cooper right here in The Guardian, he's saying, Cooper tells UN Forum travel advisories harmful, unfair.
I want to talk like this. I want to take this commercial break, but we got to talk like this.
We have a problem.
Let me tell you why. Because the contrast that you've set, the comparison that you've set was historic in terms of the tradition of our community and identifying the proper dynamics of the home.
Yes.
And as we travel deeper into the future, that dynamic, that makeup of the home has shifted.
Yes.
That is also applied to national leadership.
Yes. Yes. And Howard Grant, and people, before we go to the break, piracy was established in this country in 1696 on a ship called the Fancy that robbed some Indian cargo ships that was bringing stuff here to the Bahamas. They used to hang pirates, hang them, put them in the gallows. Huh? When you don't act according to the legal decency of the day, they hung you. These people don't want to act decent. So either we're going to expel them or we're going to do what? You tell me.
You got me on a train of thought that I really don't want to be able to get off of. I can do my best. We can take this kind of commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, because he got me thinking about some stuff. When you draw these comparisons, we have to look at the core issue. And the core issue, if you never rectify that,
yes,
then it could reemerge.
And it will grow.
And it has been reemerging in our society.
Yes.
Quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take this commercial break and be right back after this.
The foundation.
Are you ready for the best of the best? Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, Up for Sound Promotion, and Guardian Radio presents the best of the best Rake and Script Explosion Concert. Mark your calendars for May 11th as Super Club Breezes grounds ignite with Bahamian talent featuring KB, Gino D, Funky D, Veronica Bishop, The Brylanders, Avi, Elon Moxie, and Shine 242.
Right now I feel like whining.
Join the Falcons, Iron Storm, Sylvie Pierre, Johnny Cake, Mama D, Nishi LS, Pat Ramis, Stevie S, and Shad Colley and the VIPs for an electrifying night of music and culture. Tickets are flying, so grab yours now. Available online at BahamasEtickets.com or swing by the Beauty Shack on Soldier Road and Carmichael Road. This is the event of the year. The best of the best Rake and Scrape Explosion at Breezes Resorts. Gates open at 6 p.m. Don't miss out on the Bahamian magic.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport convenience stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama Market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News sales representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Foundation.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Before we go off to the commercial break, I want to touch these things. Now, Garth hit us with this thing, right? He hit me with a rhythm and meandered through the course of time and history to talk about historically what we stood for here in the country, here as a nation, here as a community. When we identified an infraction, we dealt with it with brute force. There's no two ways about that. That's what you're saying to me, Garth.
That's exactly
when
what
we
I'm saying.
identified an infraction, a social discomfort that went contrary to what we've set up to say this is our society and this is the direction it went, we identified an infraction and we dealt with it with brute force.
Yes.
All the way from 1690, would you say
1696.
1696, all the way down to 2026. Now let's fix this. As we travel from one century, one decade to another, there is modification to the Bahamian mind. I watched a movie the other day that started to talk about an invasion to Earth. It's on Netflix, right? This kind of an idea that, oh God, I can't remember what it's one of the new ones, right? And it says that this is when the lights was flickering. This is when the stars was flickering. Did you watch it? The stars started to flicker in this kind of a movie, right? The aliens were already living with us. All right. And so the guy says, what are you doing? Why are you all invading Earth? This is the long conversation. And he said, because you have consistency. I go on somewhere. I want you to hear me. He said, the reason why my country is invading Earth, he said, my nation, my planet is invading Earth is because you have had no issues over the past 10,000, 100,000 years. You've developed from one step to another. This is every time we, as an alien race, try to develop, something comes in and deals with us. The inconsistency of our countries, this were the three rings and the three suns. The inconsistency of my nation doesn't give us the time to be able to retain information, to retain documentation. We can't do it and we can't grow. I've given you a point, my point. The reason why we can be able to evolve and transition, segue from one generation to another seamlessly, for the most part, is because we retain information. And some of the information as this generation looks in the past makes a determination that maybe this brute force never rectified issues. All the brute force you had in life, you still having issues. Maybe we make a determination as to whether or not we deal with the core issue through conversation, through interaction, through all these particular things, and then see if we could rectify this for the preservation of the community. My point to you. The Bahamas government and governments across the world, for the most part, the free world, has identified, based upon our proximity, especially to the United States of America and our relationship with the Privy Council in Great Britannia, we seek to use our language, our intellect. That's what our desire is. That's the setup. We got to use our language, our communication, our intellect to resolve issues as opposed to the brute force that represented yesteryear. Now, what you're saying to me is that as a result of these same issues, we have to ask ourselves the question, do we want a leader that's going to institute historic value of being able to put brute force at the forefront, or do we want a leader who's articulate and understanding how to be able to use communication to fuse people together to rectify this issue? That's the question that you have.
Howard Grant, what is the ability of the average person on the streets of the Bahamas to communicate and listen? Now put yourself in trouble and give me the percentile of people who you believe can actually communicate and listen.
The Bahamas is more than 85% competent and capable. They understand. Bahamian people understand.
What do they understand, Howard?
They understand.
Understand what? What are you understanding?
No, that's you asking me the wrong question. You asking me the wrong question.
What do they understand?
No, that's the wrong question you asking. That's not a question that you ask for others. That's a question that you ask for you.
You said they're competent in what? In which regard?
I got a call yesterday that talked about the necessity for to be bilingual in the country. Every Bahamian is bilingual. Every single one of us. Every single Bahamian is bilingual. We know how to speak American, and we know how to speak broken down, over the hill Negro. We know. We understand how to navigate these particular spaces. And with your intellect, you know more than one language. With your intellect, you should never ask me the question, what do they understand? You should ask yourself that. And in asking yourself, what do they understand? Now you know how to be able to meet them right where they are. See, that's the difference between the niche markets or the intellectuals within our society and those that we consider grassroots.
You're telling me
we could still find productivity if you don't necessarily see yourself always elevated. We could fix this country because these are the same people. This is what I said yesterday.
Hold on. You just said we can fix.
Of course we can.
Why are you going to fix it if it's 85% competent?
No. The competency is only for the purposes of survival. The competency was the basic language of being able to understand. The competency is the difference between being able to draw on the sides of the pyramid walls and being able to see those things and the language that we use today. It evolves, but it was essential for the time. If we are living in an archaic time, all we have to know is how to deal with that.
Homeboy.
That's just me.
Homeboy.
I don't see, listen, I believe in capital punishment. I do. But I don't believe you should push everyone into the same bucket. I just don't.
Okay, here we go, Howard. Shout out to the class of 1986 in Augustine's College. They can testify to this. I was a better student in R&B. I had to go back to high school again just to get a diploma. I was bad as hell, but anyway, it is what it is. From grade 7 to grade 11, every day after school, I spent my time in room 63. Detention every day, not a day missed. That was me, the trouble kid. One day I came to school exceptionally late. I came to school at 11:30. I intentionally caught the wrong bus.
Nice.
Tried to find myself to Fox Hill, walk over the hill by St. Mary's Hall, came down the hill. I said, now, should I just go to class and act like I've been here all day? Or should I go to Mr. Kraft and ask Mr. Kraft to let me in school? What is going to be the result today? Went to Mr. Kraft. Mr. Kraft looked at me and he said, Garth, today I am not going to put you in detention. You're not going. I said, what? He said, no, you're not going. You're excused. And then he looked at me and said, I want you to answer me one question. I said, okay. He said, are you on drugs? That one question woke me up. If I felt like if you think I'm on drugs and I wasn't on drugs, I got to be really bad off. But this is a person like myself who has the ability, as you just said, to comprehend. I do not believe that 85% of our society can comprehend
That's
that.
statistical information, sir.
From who?
From the officials in the Bahamas.
Who official? The ones who
there are
said...
basic questions that you ask that talks
Tell
about
me
competency.
who the officials are who say this.
You are wilding out today.
Because the officials we know, ain't none of them in there honorable or competent.
Oh, Jesus. Now we talk about honorability. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take this quick commercial break, get your news, and be right back after this.
The foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio, Howard Grant in your company, the foundation, live and in full effect. Please join me in conversation today, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family violence, 242-300, 5720, or hit me up, 422-4796. I'm here with none other than Garth. He has put a great deal on the table today. Garth, you did.
Howard.
You did. You put a lot on the table today.
There's a lot that runs through my mind. Let me put it this way, Howard Grant. You have a perpetrator that has a firearm. In their mind, they're going to find themselves to a place where other people are vulnerable, meaning that they are powerful and everyone else around them is vulnerable. They have every intention to just go ahead and perform a terrible act. Scenario-wise, like Texas, we all have the right who are psychologically fit to have a firearm as well. You're a pastor, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a teacher, you're an engineer, you're a justice of the peace. Now, that person who has that firearm and wants to commit this terrible act isn't even sure if when he walks into an establishment who has a firearm and who doesn't. Now, it only takes 2 or 3 incidents for you to walk into the wrong area to find out that you got 15 firearms pointed at you for thinking that we were vulnerable and now we're strong. So is there a conversation for capital punishment? Is there a conversation for the right to bear arms by way of psychological evaluation that Garth Maynard Roseborough is allowed to have a firearm? So when you decide you want to walk in the wrong place at the wrong time to do the wrong act, we can assist you in finding out what description Jesus is or what description the devil is. But today could be your day. You see, I feel there's too much freedom for these individuals. And as you correctly said in the break, Howard, and I'll let you speak on that, maybe we don't have proper intervention measures. We don't have the right resources available to correct the behavior of these individuals. But even the Almighty himself in the good book says that one day, that when all knees bow and every tongue confess, everybody ain't gonna make it into no pearly gate. There's gonna be capital punishment. These people go into hell forever. And so if even God himself is going to practice this, and many religions around the world practice this very same concept, how does that now escape us, a religious people in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, who does not have a final act for those people, for lack of a better word, who repent? If you do not repent, then we deal with you the way you've dealt with others. You can't go around ending the lives of 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And if you're found out to be aiding and abetting as a gang leader to these crimes, we take you out too. Because this is too much. This is too much. We should have the right to walk freely around our country, to have visitors come to our country without fearing if I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's all I'm saying.
In 2016, I supported Dr. Minnis.
You did?
2016, I supported
Howard Grant did?
Heavy.
You did?
100%.
Like voters card support?
Well,
I just asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you don't give him the voters card.
But you transparent, so that's good.
In 2016, I went to his office. I sat down as he was the leader of opposition in the House of Assembly. I supported him heavy.
So you wanted Perry Glasson Christie gone?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But beyond that, it wasn't just about being able to see someone gone. Mm-hmm. It was being able to identify the possibility of moving to the future. In retrospect, as I look back on that commitment, I realized that maybe his traditional values for community didn't align with my expectations was for him, Dr. Minnis. Let me tell you why. Mm-hmm. I thought Dr. Minnis had a couple elements in 2016 that could make him the best prime minister in the country. Mm-hmm. Now, why? One, he wasn't a lawyer, right? He was a doctor.
We needed a change. Yes, we did.
We needed a change in that particular perspective.
Yes.
And he had the example of Perry Christie, Hubert Ingram, and Lyndon Pinlin before him.
Okay.
That he could have been able to just study these men, identify on this political minefield where the bombs were laid. Because history shows you, when he stepped there, this one blew up. When he stepped there, all you do is study.
Okay.
That's all you do. You study these men. And in studying these particular men, you make a determination as they navigated through their course, how you could be able to be better than them. All you do is just study. And so if he had studied in 2016 these men intimately and understand them intricately, and understand some of the downfalls, because you make a SWOT analysis, their strengths, their weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. That would have made him an absolutely undeniable prime minister.
So what happened?
He didn't study.
Oh, he didn't study. It wasn't the challenge of Dorian. It wasn't the challenge of COVID. He just didn't study.
Study. Because if I could sit here and tell you that I could remember when Zhivago Lang says to me or says to the public that Hubert Ingram made him to understand that politics wasn't just about being able to do what needed to be done on paper, but dealing with people, then you know that this is a job to deal with people. And no matter how good you are on paper, if you don't know how to talk to people, you still lose. That only takes study. Perry Christie was the opposite. Perry Christie was great with dealing with people. He knew how to shuffle and dance and jive and so forth and so on, but did not apply himself to the paper. That's just what it is. This is historic value and information that's accessible to all. We could read it, just study. When I supported him in 2016, this was because of my mind that says he's a doctor, he got the study, he should be able to look at this landscape. I think he can be the best prime minister. That he came up with his concepts and so forth and so on. I point to you. The reason why we have these particular things is that we have to build on knowledge. That's it.
I'm listening.
We, as a nation, as a community, have to build on knowledge. That's it. That's what community is all about. The Bahamas has not studied. We have not studied yesteryear. We have not studied men and women of the only thing that old men seek to do in our society, for the most part, is bring back the good old days.
But yet you're 85% competency. I ain't gonna let that go.
Competency has nothing to do with application. Competency is understanding. My son is extremely competent, 5 years old. I call him, but because of his distraction watching the television, despite the fact that he hear me, I know I can cut his behind for not moving, he doesn't move. He's quite capable and understands that he has to move. But because of the hard distraction, he sits in this particular position. That's where we are as a nation.
I don't call that competency, man.
That's where we are as a nation. The nation is quite capable of understanding.
Understanding, but are they competent? I look at that.
They're competent enough to be able to move one leader out to move another leader in every single time over the past 20 decades, over the past 2 decades.
The last 2 decades, we've had the same prime minister in different bodies because the system has not changed.
Now let's talk about this. Now you're talking about capital punishment.
The last prime minister to hang somebody was who?
Hubert Ingram.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Hubert.
1996 was this 96,
Mr.
97?
Hubert Alexander Minnis, I believe with all my heart, 100%.
This doesn't differentiate you in your capacity as leadership and your capability to murder someone.
To hang some people, I sure he would do. I ain't sure about Perry Glasgow and Christie, but I sure Minnis, he'll hang you. If he don't let you out your house to get water from the pump, I sure he can hang you. I'm positive of this.
Now watch me.
So these prime ministers, I don't see no difference in none of them.
Okay. So let's do this. Every single dispensation, every year that we have to grow, we have seen crime increase for the past 20 years in this country.
Yes.
Every year we see more murders.
Are we sick and tired of it?
More murders.
Sick and tired of it.
The politicians have taken this particular tool to show you that more murders, and they've contrasted that there's more murders under the PLP than the FNM.
We don't care about that.
This is what they've used.
Yeah, but we ain't caring about that no more.
This is what they've used. You know why? Because they're asking the wrong questions. They're not using the knowledge and the data and information to be able to sharp and hone our society into a progressive society for growth and development into the future. They're only using the knowledge to be able to satisfy their instant gratification and desire to acquire power. That's all they're using it for.
That's it.
Okay.
And the system allows them to get away with it.
Okay. So if we're not building community, that's all this foundation is about, sir. As we get back to this and pull this full circle, you start off like this, and I'm trying to explain to you. All the foundation is about is reminding and rebuilding community. That's it. That's all this is. These conversations that we go deeper into the psyche of the Bahamian mind to say whether or not we're thinking about these things only is to show you that there are opportunities for us to be able to move beyond this. We have to build on the information that we have. We have to build. I do not understand why my wife has asked me what I want to eat.
That's just a matter of respect for her, to you.
No.
You may not like it. Hold on. You may not like it. But that's her way of doing things. You have a way of doing things too, Howard. You do too.
I'm not going to fight her.
And we're all individuals.
I learned to deal with it.
And I bet you she's a competent wife.
Absolutely, 100%.
So what the hell are you complaining about?
No, this is not a complaint.
Thank you very much.
This is me saying to you, I do not understand it because I only want the same thing that I wanted yesterday. I'm no different.
But you got to check.
Listen, I'm not going to say, you know what, give me some lobster fettuccine. I don't even eat that stuff.
She has to check because she loves you.
She knows.
She has to check.
She knows the rhythm of what I expect, what I like, what I desire. But if you seek to be able to do something contrary, then you're not building on the information of yesteryear.
Howard, every year, the men them say they tired. Crabbing rice.
I don't eat that.
They say the men of the country say they don't want every year the women give you crabbing rice. Every year. They don't ask you no questions. They just give you crabbing rice. So the men are complaining in the nation of Bahamas they don't want no more crabbing rice. Right now the people in the nation are complaining we don't want no more shooting. We don't want no more violence. We tired. So we got to have a solution to this now. That's what the people now want. We don't want nothing else, Howard. We telling you what we want. Yesterday, it may have been okay to discuss it and say, oh, who here shoot, what happened, la, 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 or what the United Nations saying, what Florida saying, what the, that was yesterday's conversation. Today's conversation is, man, enough of this crap. Let's put an end to this. What do we have to do? We want to know from these learned men, these learned women, these people who have been appointed to Parliament who's supposed to find solutions to fix issues in our country. Tell us, please. How can we fix this problem? We are all interested. PLP,
how can they tell you?
Everyone is interested.
How can they possibly tell you if they don't build on the information of the past?
What the heck you vote them for?
You vote them because the party tell you vote for them. You didn't vote for them for their competency.
Y'all make me sick.
They don't know nothing about the community that they're going in.
Y'all making me sick.
They don't know nothing about the community that they're going in. How long have we been having a conversation about what needs to happen in terms of development in Pinewood? Let's have a clear conversation, sir.
You mean Pine Lakes?
How much conversation we can have about the fact that, are they?
I mean, some of the roads get elevated, I guess. Some of the roofs they don't have concrete no more.
We had a young man here, in the person of my very good friend, Darvel.
Oh, you mean Gerard Darvel?
Yes.
Yeah, he lives in that area.
He came with a concept, an idea to be able to pump the water out, created in the lake, trucks. And all these things. He's done all these things, created it. He's gone to look for persons internationally to be able to come in. He's done all these things. And members of parliament come in one after another over the past 20 years, and no one rectified this issue.
Never should have been an issue in the first place.
No one rectified this issue.
You don't build house and swamp.
My point to you is that if you don't build on information, if you don't build on the data that exists, what are you in the space for?
Opportunity.
If the prime minister that currently sits in this particular position don't understand and realize the rhythm of our society and don't ask the right question, they could never resolve this. Whether it's 5 years or it's 50 years, they could never resolve the issues.
Who will now teach our politicians how to ask the right questions? Who's responsible for that?
Politicians need to be able to have discernment, sir. They need to be able to be socially adept and abreast to what's happening with issues, have enough vulnerability and sensitivity to understand and discern. That is what politicians should be doing. They need to be. That is why I keep agitating for us to be able to identify a woman, because maybe her empathy would put us in a different position. Let me take this telephone call. Call on the line. Go ahead.
Hey, Howard. Hey, Goff.
Hey, Dr. Dello.
What you say, my brother?
Let's cut straight to the chase here. You know, tired of being this hamster, this proverbial hamster going round and round in circles, going nowhere fast. You need to ask yourself the question: it isn't the matter that our leaders in this country are unaware or ill-equipped to solve the issues that confront the Bahamian people on a daily basis. They now realize that the Bahamian people are no longer asleep. We've been talking about these things from time immemorial, and these things can be solved. The fact of the matter is, you have to ask yourself the question: is it really their intent to solve and bring resolution to these matters? You know, we talk about these things time and time. You know, I basically am at the position right now where I believe that this is all deliberate. There is no real intent to solve really nothing on the small level to bring comfort to the Bahamian people to begin the process of really correcting this country in a manner that we can progress forward, upward, and onward in the manner that was first anticipated. There's no true intent to move this country forward for us to live comfortably here. I believe that we are all here intended to remain exactly where we are. Nothing but complainers, nothing about talking about solutions, but the persons who we have elected to bring about the solutions that we suggest. And we have many persons here who tell you what the solutions are and give you ideas on how to bring about the solutions, but they all seem to fall on deaf ears. They cherry pick what they want to do on behalf of the Bahamian people with no intention of solving nothing. And we have to stop this talk. Seriously, I don't care which political party is in power. It's about time that they do the work that the Bahamian people are asking them to do. And there's no room, in closing, there's no room for compromise. They must do what the Bahamian people tell them to do, and not what they feel as if they want to do for the Bahamian people. We need to stop this nonsense. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, my brother. The question is, what are we asking? It goes right back to you.
Listen.
What are we asking? Your superintendent, your senior mister in the school, after you showed up 11:30, put you in detention relentlessly. But one day he decided not to. Then he asked you a question. He asked you a question. Are you on drugs?
Mm-hmm.
That was the wrong question he asked you.
It worked for me.
No, it only worked for you because you realized that he'll never get to the right question. If he asked you the right question, or if anyone took the time out to ask you the right question as you were screaming out for attention, for issues that had to do with you being broken, you would have been an entirely different human being today.
In which way?
In the way that you would have been able to be more conscious and open. And this ain't me saying that you're not. I'm just simply saying that at an inflection point, at a juncture, when there is detriment and a heaviness, you have to ask the right questions. The Bahamian people have never asked the right questions of their government. They haven't. The governments have never asked the right questions of the Bahamian people. You've only been wrapped up in the rhythm of a campaign, but never asking the right questions. The right question was, what's really going on with you? That's a good question. Not whether or not you're on drugs.
Howard, you know where the disconnect.
What the issue is.
Here's the disconnect, Howard. And I made mention to this to you on an earlier show. Pre-1967 for me, I wasn't here, but I'm a historian, paints a different picture to me. Post-1973 paints a different picture to me. Those 5 years in between were transition years, as far as I'm concerned. When we, in quote, detached ourselves from the motherland of England, we weren't given a script or a manuscript or instructions as to how to govern this nation. What happened at that particular juncture, as I feel, and you could call in callers, Howard could discuss this with me today.
Right up right now.
Okay, is this, Howard? I'll make it short then. What you did to me was that you took away my wealth as a Bahamian and left me with all the bills.
That's perceived wealth. That's assumption. That's in retrospect listening to the pictures that have been painted by one man or another who's deeper into this kind of an African theology, so forth and so on, or whatever the case may be. You've gravitated to one thing as opposed to another because the same white man who plucked us up had the same opportunity that we have. Every single one of them, not one human being popped out of the womb with an instruction manual. Not one. Not one. We don't come with instructions. We have the responsibility to be able to build on based upon the knowledge that exists in each place. And now, what I give those particular persons from, they took our history from us. Now we got to kind of paste together and try to figure out who we really are. They didn't give us different names. But the truth of the matter is that that was by design. Based upon what they've done in the Civil War, based upon what they've done historically. This is who they are. Let's have a very clear conversation. We have the responsibility to build on the knowledge and information that exists to us today. Let me take this telephone call before they cuss me. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Howard Grant.
Hey, what you say?
Good afternoon, man. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you and God something. In order to be a police, where do you go?
To the police college.
Okay, in order to be a teacher, where do you go?
Teachers college.
Okay, in order to be a member of parliament, where do you go?
To your community.
Can't pick up somebody off the anywhere and say, come.
You go to your political organization.
Let's go. Okay, now another thing too. The water situation in Pinewood Garden. I don't know if I need to just bring in one white man with one briefcase with some paper and some newspaper or something and tell him what this deal is and sell him this so I can make something of it. All you need to do, each road in Pinewood Garden has drains. You dig into the drains and every pipe lead to one way. So all the water, you're not trying to fill the drain no more. You're going to lift up the park in Pinewood, put a tank under there, a water tank, with the fire engine can come and get water from. With the people who doing the landscape,
like a reservoir,
come and get water from free of charge.
So like a reservoir.
All of the water drain into there. You build a basketball court back on top of the tank. So you ain't got to worry about no little children jumping and that and falling in that. Or either that, or you just lift the road. All the roads lead to one direction, so all the water going in one area to that same tank.
Well, if you ask Barry Christie, former prime minister, he come there and say, well, that's about $60 billion.
I worry about that. You hear Mr. Alfred says talking about they bring in one thing which can float and get the water. Where that is? That region? To float and suck up the water of the Pinewood. You know what them days they can need to suck up water of the Pinewood?
You are a plumber?
I appreciate your telephone call, my
no,
brother.
I'm not no plumber. I just common sense.
Okay.
I appreciate your telephone call.
Pinewood when Pinewood was never that low, you know.
Okay.
Be lying and I walk on them, take Pinewood down like that. Pinewood was high.
Wow. I appreciate your telephone call, my brother. Thank you so much. Let me take the next telephone call before we go to a break. Call on the line. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Howard.
Hey, what's your name, my brother?
They must think you use, good afternoon, God. They must think you use 18-inch pipes and put submersible pumps to help with the water and, of course, collect data on gallons per minute, et cetera, because that's a lot of water in Pinewood. They must think you need to make a man-made lake.
You heard what he just said?
But, you know, Howard, I kind of lean on what God's saying. Hey, God.
Yes, sir.
As it relates to detention, right, that's all I used to get in school because I used to take my shirt out of my pants, right, Howard? Because I realized we're not free. Because I always thought that was something we learned from the white man. But I need to put my shirt in my pants so you can see how I shape. I look at all these things as colonial constructs. God is totally correct. And so, when for me, I look at the lack of cohesiveness with the Bahamian people as being our downfall. You know, Jeff said we need to stop the talk, but when are we going to start the walk? So, like I said, if 20, 30, or 50,000 of us don't gather in the front of the House of Assembly and voice our concerns about national issues, then we will continue to be treated in this way. Early in the hour, you had mentioned the guy was talking about government contracts. You know, he was totally correct in the fact that I was saying it's obvious that the government is using the taxpayers' money against us because they use it to produce political fanatics and goonery. They have goons that they have to support, and this is what it is, but it's at the expense of the taxpayers. And he explained the wastage, the unsustainable wastage, even as far as pension funds coming in for 5 or 10 years and getting pensions for the rest of your life, and just bamboozling and just wasting the people taxpayers. That's all we're doing, Howard.
Well,
we're not going to get anywhere because we don't see the position we're in. There's a lot of secrets that government hold from people. Even on the global arena, we're being kept in the dark. God mentioned the capital punishment, right? Now, the thing is with that, Dwight gives some data coming from, I don't know which non-government entity, but it came on Dwight's show, and Dwight gave the data on how much percentage the third world and the Caribbean sub-region is responsible for global murders. And the Caribbean and the third world sub-region in the Caribbean was responsible for almost a third. I think it's about 33, it's about a third of the world's homicide. So, given the fact that the European
that is absolutely.
You think they're gonna do anything to impede us from killing?
I have to get that data. That is
hold on, Howard.
It's impossible.
It started from the Treaty of Tordesillas to the Concert of Europe to the Balfour Declaration. These people don't care about us. That's how we are naive because God gave me a thought. If we are free, then we should be free to make our own decision, not man-made vision. And Howard, Going to school does not make you the smartest person on earth. Our minds are being raped. I want you, before you die, to read a book called The Effects of Science on Humanity, written by Bertrand Russell. Diet, injections, and injunctions is mentioned in this book. This book was written in the 1950s. Everyone should read it. You should read your Bible also, because some people like to be facetious, and but they're very ignorant. The human people don't know how to appreciate knowledge or anything.
I write it down. The effects of science on humanity. I got to let you go, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to take this quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Make your mornings easy with the new breakfast bowls at Burger King Nassau. These delicious bowls are a complete breakfast in a convenient package for those on the run who want to enjoy the most important meal of the day, the BK way. Each breakfast bowl has all the breakfast fixings you love and comes in 3 tasty versions to choose from, including the classic, the Southwestern style, and the keto-friendly bowl. BK just made breakfast easier with the new breakfast bowls at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
Calling all Alive postpaid customers. Paying your postpaid bill in full this month could mean winning tickets to see Janet Jackson live at the Atlantis. That's right. Make your payment through the My Alive app, bealive.com, or any Alive location by April 23rd and be automatically entered. Winner will be announced on April 24th, so don't wait. Start paying for your chance to win. Alive, the perfect connection for everyone.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Foundation. Foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company, the foundation. We're here with none other than Garth Roseborough, just being able to talk about a couple of things. Woven into the conversation is capital punishment. We started off talking about the concepts and ideas of this Wednesday. So, you can be able to kind of chime in if you want. The numbers for you to be able to give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the Family of Violence, 242-300-5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. The line's going to be open if you want to be able to call in to do that. I got to be able to get the statistics. I got to get the statistics. 52 just called and said that on the White shows, they said that, and I don't want to be inaccurate based upon what I could be able to recall. It says that the Caribbean is responsible, based on some status or information, for 33% of the murders.
Probably by way of capital ratio. That's all it is. That's a ratio.
That doesn't matter. It's still inaccurate information. That is absolutely inaccurate.
They're saying if the Caribbean had 8 billion people,
that is impossible.
We would still be responsible for 33%.
That is impossible. That is absolutely impossible.
They're saying that you people produce violent activity. That's what they're trying to tell you. You people savage, man. Y'all people ain't.
Well, this is the same systematic approach to be able to identify the black and brown man as deviants.
Well, this is why I said you earlier in the show, when we talk about independence, right? The mother countries in Europe, that's like on the other side of the world. We over here on this side of the world, listen to somebody over on the other side of the world. That's what we're doing. And telling us what to do all the way over here. Like what happens over here affects what happens to them over there. And over there, they're telling us, we need a couple of dollars from you. But they're way over there. And we all the way over here, and we sending it. And we listening to what they got to say. Why? See, that's the question we need to ask today, Howard. Why are we doing this? Could somebody please tell us why? Because that don't make no sense to me, man. We need to find out the reason why, and then we need to find the corrective measure so that we could no longer practice this nonsense. Now, I say if I need to have a big daddy, someone from the G8, why the heck I going all the way across the world for that in America right there, man? If I got to answer to somebody, I might as well answer to my neighbor. But you won't go all the way across the world to Europe for what?
That's geopolitics, by the way. You know that.
I know it's geopolitics.
That's geopolitics.
But let me ask you another question then, Howard. Who's looking out for you more? Them or right across the road here? Let me ask that question then.
What you mean? Britain or...
When the flamingo get in trouble, who will look out for you?
Well, only proximity gave opportunity.
But that's the one who I want to be my daddy. The one who can look out for me right away.
But beyond that, they already had an issue. And they perpetuated the issue to say that we had to come to the rescue. Come on, let's just be real. It's geopolitics. They already had an issue, an embargo on Cuba.
Mister, I want no looking out for me. See, that's the problem. Y'all keep looking out for everybody else. You were looking for Jamaica. You were looking for Barbados. You were looking for Trinidad. You were looking for Guyana. You were looking for Venezuela. What the heck? Look out for the Bahamas, man. From Abaco down to Make Water, could we get this little small country right? There's 400,000 of us, and we got some serious issues that we need to deal with right now. So anybody who wants to get into politics right now, if you are not serious, we don't want you.
And you can tell when they ain't serious, you know. You sit down with them and have a conversation with them, you could tell that they're not studies as it relates to the politics that existed before them. They won't hit you with the rhythm, the talk, so forth and so on, but they don't know the real issues of being able to say, this is what I should agitate and advocate for. Let me take the telephone call. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Next call. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Yes, Howard. How you doing?
I'm good, man. What's happening?
Good afternoon to God.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah, my brother God. I mean, I just want to say, man, Howard, skirted around your question about the percentile thing, like how you ever see them bed and you just lift the mattress up and put that thing on top of the box.
What percentile thing I skirted around? Let me hear this now.
And then you put the mattress on top of that thing with a skirt around the bed.
I try to figure out what the question is. What the question is, I skirted around.
God, I don't know, God.
You know I go to your side.
Howard, when you asked you that question about the percentile of the Bahamian people who could comprehend and have a proper conversation, because you didn't even address the whole question. Like you skate around that, like how you skate, like how the thing is skated around the bed.
I said to you over 80%. I know the accurate count is 95% for 12 million people in Cuba, but I think I read something the other day that was 92% here in the country. I don't want to give you an accurate. I know it's over 80%.
I'm sure God noticed how you skate around that thing.
I can get it right now.
But I just want to say quickly, I just want to add a little bit to what 52 was saying too. But Howard, see, if we allow crime to become a business, right? That's dangerous. You understand? Like in the States, how they have private prison systems and different things, right? Because who invests into a business unless they anticipate growth, right? Now we're talking about crime now. Mm-hmm. You understand where I'm coming from, right? So you have individuals who are investing in something where they are hoping for the worst.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So now here you have it now where you have a business now that's going to require a product, right? So you don't want to have individuals in a position, right, where they are going to probably be incentivized or to cause it to happen or to impede actions that may want to slow it down. You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
So you see, so it's dangerous when we allow certain aspects of society to fall into the hands of private individuals, because then certain things become corrupted, and then after that, no matter what you do, nothing else can run well, because the foundations have been corrupted all around. And once the foundations have been corrupted all around, no matter what you do, it will just continue to crumble.
Wow.
You understand where I come from, Howard? So things like healthcare, things like proper legal aid, things like proper education, these things are not supposed to be in the hands of individuals where they can kind of monopolize it in a way where you understand where I'm coming from. But I say, God, but look at Howard do the dance on that question, that thing is straight around the bed. Yeah, but
I can read it right now.
God,
I can read it right
let
now.
him get away. God,
I can read it right now.
Stick on him, God, stick on him.
Okay, I'm going to fight you.
Y'all have a nice day.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your telephone call. Let me read this right now. It says the Bahamas has one of the most highly educated populations in the Western Hemisphere, boasting an adult literacy rate of more than 95% and an English-speaking population of more than 300,000 people. This is from the Bahamas Investment Authority. This is demographics and education. I told you it was over 80%. It was over 80%.
Competency.
I tell you this. Let me read it again.
To do what?
Let me read it again. The Bahamas has one of the most highly educated population in the Western Hemisphere, boasting an adult literacy rate of more than 95%.
That's ability to read and write.
And an English-speaking population of more than 300,000 people.
So guess what? The ability to read and write has nothing to do with comprehension.
Listen, read, write, and comprehend. That's that.
No, ain't no comprehension.
That's what this is.
That's ability to literacy to read and write. That's what that is. That ain't to comprehend nothing. Not that. Read that properly again. See, I know language when I hear language, man. That's the ability to read and write in the hemisphere. That ain't got nothing to do with no comprehension. Because these people can't understand. I ain't asking you.
They can read and write, but they can't.
They can't understand. Not these people.
You can't put that on everybody.
Listen to me, sir.
God, you can't put it on
Listen
everybody.
to me, sir. They say, let's go back to the data. They who also say that we are the D average, yes or no? So we are the D average and we got over 95% in our country. What the hell they got in the rest of the
These
Caribbean?
are
Let me hear
complex
this.
conversations that you're having.
Yes, but if we that smart at the D average, tell me how dumb they is at the F average.
No, let me tell you this.
I just got to ask.
The complexity of these conversations, they're very nuanced conversations. You can't just, you're putting everybody in the bucket based upon a Western concept.
They
of
just
what
put me in the
education
bucket and
is.
say we're 33% responsible for crime in the world. That's what Dwight just said this morning on the show.
No,
That's what the fella said.
Dwight couldn't say that.
No, he said
that's
statistics.
inaccurate
He said
information.
statistics. I don't think so, man. I think Dwight know exactly what he said.
That's inaccurate information. It's impossible. This is inaccurate information.
No, man. I can't
The
fight Dwight.
Caribbean has 46 million people. 44 to 46
By
million.
ratio,
Listen,
we violent.
the Caribbean has 44 to 46 million people. China has 1 billion people.
And they don't kill no bunch of people.
India has 1 billion
They don't
people.
kill no bunch of people. They don't kill that much.
But just by sheer numbers, somebody got to get stopped.
No, but by their numbers compared to us by way of the population number ain't as much as ours.
8 billion people on
Our
this
country
planet.
got 400,000 people. You all didn't kill over 40 people. What the hell is wrong with you people? That's bad, man. That's very, very bad. That's extremely bad.
Let me take a telephone call. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Howard.
Hey, what's up, Anton?
Good afternoon, Howard, and good afternoon, God.
Hey, my brother, boy, you sound like you in the shower.
No, boy.
You that clear?
I feel under what?
You ain't got no rubber ducky.
But I listening to y'all. I didn't catch the place off. Saw like y'all had some interesting discussions based on what one or two of the callers said. On the phrase off, Howard and Garth. Sorry I missed that, but nonetheless, Garth just highlighted something that you mentioned, Howard. I wanna echo it a little bit further. Reading and writing, paper stands still for you to read and for you to write, but comprehension is where the real wisdom, understanding, and intelligence lies.
Yes, sir.
And you could be proficient in looking at a word and pronouncing it, or even writing it, because you can recite it. But where the real proficiency comes in is in the comprehension.
Yes,
and
sir.
these kinds of topics, although y'all are having it in relation to a specific area of reading and writing, this matter of comprehension spans across everything we do on the planet.
Yes.
Including conflict resolution, including
Yes.
emotional intelligence,
Yes.
which is something that is missing in lots of instances of matters that turn into or end violently.
You don't know
or
offering
criminally.
plate. Give me the offering plate, man. Give me the offering plate. Let me get your offering today, man. You sound
Huh?
good.
Say it again, God.
I need the offering plate, man. You sound good. You're preaching. You're working.
Now, God, I hear you. Yes, I get out. Howard, you didn't put a start to God, so I assume you in agreement with him. He was railing on what the leaders are telling us and seemingly incapable of doing. But I just want to remind all of us in the conversation that yes, the government has the responsibility to provide a safe environment for all citizens of the Bahamas. That is the mandate. And the Commission of Police has the specific mandate to execute on the government's vision. But ultimately, we all have a role to play. And until and unless we accept that role to play, we will continue to experience these high levels of crime. I heard the Prime Minister on the news break, Howard, when you went. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can hear you right here.
Yeah, when you all went to the news break, the Prime Minister was speaking on some matters he discussed in Parliament, and he started to mention about the unfortunate look and how it draws sympathy when you have family members who are getting dragged before the courts because their family members involved in activities. I believe that PM skipped over a thought in following his thought process, which is that in many instances, you have persons right within the home who are fully aware, some of the very persons who may be dragged before the courts, who are fully aware of what their family member is doing, but is doing very little, if anything at all, to curb or put an end to the behavior. And when it graduates to the point of all persons in the home being impacted, then society has a tendency to sympathize. But I really appreciate what PM is saying, that we are sick and tired, and yes, God, I understand where you are coming from, in that we are tired of talking. Also, we want to see action.
Yeah.
But said it again, God.
Yeah. No. Thanks, man. I got the lines I lit right up. So just if you could wrap up.
Yeah. All right. I'll end with this point right here, Howard. But at the end of the day, this effort on crime is going to take the entire country coming together to stamp it out, with the biggest responsibility starting within each and every home in the country, and the parents who are the guardians over those homes. Thank you for the opportunity. God bless.
Thank you, man. I do appreciate your telephone call. Next caller on the line. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Yeah, Howard, I called to give some clarity here. Still agree with God. Dwight had said the third world and the Caribbean. It had to have been, right? You could easily bring up the rebroadcast. But as it relates to what God is saying with education and being able to being literate, right? Doesn't have anything to do with comprehension. The pandemic is a perfect example of that, Howard. And people who like to talk about their degrees, etc. I had texted a text one time to a host. I wouldn't say the name. And it was a simple word. It was a 6-letter word, but they wasn't familiar with the word. And so I had asked them why they didn't read the word. They embarrassed me on the air, and they said I had spelled it incorrectly. I sent the text to CL and Ms. Malcolm. It wasn't spelled incorrectly. It's just that they didn't know the word. So what happens is, what I guess what God means in my interpretation, a lot of people cannot think beyond what they have learned. All right? These thoughts come in my mind, come from me and what I have in my head, That's why I don't let people shape my external reality. I don't know if you was one of the people, because you wasn't on the air then, who might have been lambasting me during the pandemic, saying 52 doesn't know what he's reading, he doesn't understand what he's reading. But Howard, I've read enough books.
I was on the show for the entire pandemic. Dazzy and I did a show the entire pandemic, which was Rush Hour with Howard and Dazzy. Now, we didn't have 2 hours. We had a couple minutes. It felt like 15 seconds. We had a couple minutes, and we did it, and we always took calls. And we had our own perspective of what the pandemic was. And we always spoke about those things. Now, when you start to talk about this, you start to talk about reading, writing, and arithmetic, which was just a regurgitation of information that's presented before you. We talked about this the other day. I talked to you about sight words and phonics. We talked about the difference between being able to identify a word and just say what you see rather than understand what you're saying. That's where we are in this nation. But that doesn't negate the fact that persons are still climbing to their intellectual capacity and aptitude and understanding how to deal with these things. We can shoot straight and have these very good conversations. I'm grateful to be here with you guys. The line's going to be wide open. Let me take this quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Contact Da Vinci Printing Innovators today for all your printing needs. Customized receipt books, NCR forms, invitations, event tickets, program booklets, business and ID cards, flyers, posters, and banners. There's scanning, printing, lamination, and binding services. Also, a variety of office supplies. No design, no problem. Dedicated graphic designers are ready to serve you. Da Vinci Printing Innovators, located in the Village Road Shopping Plaza. Stop in or call 677-2922 or browse services online at www.davinciprinting242.com, where printing is an art.
Bonneville Bones, established in 1970, is the leader in men's fashion in the Bahamas. We're conveniently located in the mall at Marathon and the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza, and fully stocked with everything you need for all occasions. Our Harbor Bay location is one door north of Alive, with the black and white signage of Bonneville Boutique. Both locations are open from 10 to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Bonneville Bones and Bonneville Boutique, still the leader in men's fashion. Located in the mall at Marathon and the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza.
The excitement, the fierce competition, the entertainment. On May 4th and 5th, our Bahamian athletes will compete with hundreds of the best from around the world to secure their spot in the Paris Olympics.
Gardner takes the title.
Come witness history as our athletes chase the sun from paradise to Paris at the 2024 World Athletic Relays. May 4th and 5th at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. Get your tickets now at worldrelaysbahamas24.org or at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium box office.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. These last few minutes, I want to thank you so very kindly for doing this. Let me see if I can read a couple of these texts. This is Howard. The crime report stated that rape, incest, and child molestation are suddenly on the rise. Look at this scenario. If the people from, let's say, Mexico, consistently eat at least 4 avocados each day, and we import 300,000 Mexicans in the Bahamas, won't the number of avocados consumed in the country rise far above the regular level? Something with a crime mentioned above. They're just saying once you actually this is an analogy. Instead of saying Haiti, they're saying Mexico. I see what you did there. I'm not going to fight you. There's a text that's coming through. Let's see if we can read a couple of these things. It says, ask the guest, what is his view on caning? Do you believe that we should actually introduce that again? Caning and the cat o' nine tail and so forth and so on.
It's a very sensitive issue, but it has been one that's also absolutely mentioned in the Word of God, the very holy book itself. I'm just being very simply to answer it this way. Whatever your crime, whatever you've done wrong, the consequence has to be heavier than that actual crime itself. You cannot equate it. You cannot say because you rape somebody.
Than murder?
Man, you gotta make them accept.
So that's equality.
No capital punishment takes care of that.
No, what I'm saying is that if you murder someone,
you need to
and
go.
the government murders you, there's nothing heavier than that crime.
Thank you.
But what you're saying? What are you saying that the government?
It ends.
Okay.
It ends.
Okay.
It ends. Now, for a child who misbehaves in school, the caning may not fit the punishment. I mean, fit the crime. Like for instance, when I was in school, I got beaten for junior's lunch. I was 5 years old at Busy Bee, opposite S.C. McPherson, and Christopher Adderley and I were good friends, and I had a Snoopy lunch tin. I ran up on the table, grabbed the first Snoopy lunch tin, and I ate the lunch. Aunt Nettie came in there and said, "Oh, Garth and Chris ate Junior's lunch." This was the first caning in my life. One of those sticks out of the crib. You remember the crib? Those baby cribs? The stick
they
in there?
beat you as a 5-year-old child.
Sir, listen to me.
Can you not see that this is abuse?
That's caning. That's total abuse.
That's not
total
caning,
abuse.
That's abuse.
I cried from 12 o'clock straight until my mom picked me up at 5 o'clock. I was losing my mind.
Now.
Yes, and guess what? I had more lunch in my Snoopy tin than Junior. But I'll never forget that beating. Now, was they wrong? Absolutely. But what lesson did I learn from that? Pick the right friggin' lunchbox.
Okay. I'm not gonna fight you for your lessons.
Leave people, woman alone.
We are literally
leave people, woman, and man alone.
We are literally progressing backwards.
Well, you get Ken.
You get Ken. Naming all murderers as gang-related. Naming all murderers as gang-related. Giving police the right to break in your homes under gang suspicion without a warrant. Our freedom of movement and rights are being disenfranchised. We are slowly moving towards martial law. I also feel that a particular nationality is declaring war on Bahamians. And these murders are not gang-related at all. And the human trafficking boats continue to come, packed with guns and drugs. This is facts. This is a text that's coming through.
Allegations.
That's a text that's coming through.
That's allegations.
Only could be allegations. Okay. Please, Howard, not Mr. Minnis today. That man, Mail, is totally lost at the doornail. Said, let him, Minnis, go home and rest in peace. Please, Mr. Grant, this crime issues are not a big issue. This is a text that's coming through. There's a text that's coming through. So it says, in 2023, 1,393 homicides in Jamaica, 13,515 in Colombia. It would all depend on whether they've lumped Latin America and the Caribbean together as a common practice. That thing is that. It skirts around the bed and literally called a bed skirt. Okay. This is the text that's coming through. It says, Howard, do your research. Who owns all of the security companies? Why would we need more criminal lawyers? Crime is our third industry. This is bananas what this person is texting. Crime is our third industry.
Call it an industry.
Crime is our third industry.
But it is an industry.
Nothing will change, sir. Crime is big business. This is bananas what you said.
It always has been in this country.
So, Howard, please read my text. Let's see. Say, I agree with God. The problem of comprehension is worse than you think, Howard. Let's look at the education system. 50% of the students drop out of school. 50% of the students drop out of school, and of the 50% left, they can achieve a high school diploma. Of that 50% that graduate, 50% barely make it to functional graduates. That means that all the students that start primary school, only 12.5% actually graduate with a C or better. That's probably accurate statistics.
Okay.
This is accurate statistics.
That's why I said they could read and write, but they can't comprehend.
Yeah, because they represent also the 10% of the demographics that are the intellectuals in our society.
Thank you very much.
Which is 40,000 people of the 400,000.
And how many intellectuals get into parliament?
Only 39 now. Well, maybe,
I said how many percent? How much percent of them are intellectuals?
Out of the 40,000?
No, the 39 members of parliament, how many of them are intellectuals and could comprehend?
Let's be decent. If I give you a percentage,
only being mischievous. You don't have to answer that. Only 1 more minute left for the show.
People will try to ask, well, Howard, who is the ones who you
identify? Who's smart and who dumb?
It's too much, right? So it says that means that 7 out of 100 students entering school this year could make it to UB. Of the other 100 they goes overseas. Only 1 will return. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. I love your stats. I love these stats.
It's true.
It says, think about that. From 87% that are non-functional, it would be a miracle to train them in trades that they need smoke, math, and English to function. We need to restart a new country, restarting with new educational system. This is heavy. That was a good text.
I love your listeners.
That was an excellent text.
Yeah, they're sharp.
That was an excellent text.
I love it.
I enjoyed that very much. Mm-hmm. He says that review is a joke. 300,000? When since COVID, right? Listen, go on the website. You can see it. It says, you mean 300,000 paper Bahamians, because you can't find 100,000 of us here. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. Y'all, let's get deep with these particular things. Garth, I want to thank you so much for being able to have this kind of a conversation.
Man, I enjoyed the show today.
The one thing that we seek to do is kind of trouble the stagnant waters of thinking progressive in our country. I think a lot of persons are kind of consumed with how I can survive, where I can get money, do I get overtime, what I do, so forth and so on, and don't necessarily give enough thought to what we're doing in terms of these mechanisms to see the country move forward up and on.
Well, Howard, I want to apply for a firearm. I think I've never wanted one before, but I want one now.
That's nothing. You could easily do.
So whoever want to come in there without permission, I could
decrease
the number of people who violate our
While you're on the public radio, just be very clear that those are for hunting purposes. Let's be very clear about that.
Ladies and gentlemen. Only for hunting?
There's only for hunting
for
purposes.
Birds and stuff like that.
That's
and
what it's for.
Wild boar and stuff like that.
That's what it's for. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Foundation with Howard Grant right here, chopping this thing down, having a good conversation with my good friend Garth. I can see if I can squeeze him back here on Friday to have a good conversation with you. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy your day. And we'll see you tomorrow, Godspare, right here on The Foundation. Give me a call, 827-0111. I got 2 slots left if you want to be a part of Small Business Thursday tomorrow. 827-0111. I'll see you tomorrow.
Foundation.